Hey you guys, welcome to a brand new video. Today we are taking in quite a wider angle of my craft room and we're gonna be doing lots of cleaning. Although my camera looks pretty clean on camera here, I'm totally fooling you because this is how my desk looks. It is a nightmare. But today we are going to be walking you through all of the tips to make it really easy to clean up even if it becomes this messy. One of my tips is actually already back here and I'm gonna show you it really quickly here. So I actually like to get out my paper trimmer and all of my tools, so my scoreboard and my bone folder, because I like to do all the pre-cutting and folding all at once. This is something that I learned from Jennifer McGuire, and now I can't do without it. So I cut down all of my top folding card bases, and I also cut down all of my cardstock down to sheets that I can use for card panels. But I like to have this stash pre-made already, and I put them right into my top drawer here, right next to me, so I can grab them while I work. This makes it so much easier than having to cut it every single time. Also, the cardstock I'm using is my Stark White cardstock. I love it because I used to use this other cardstock, and my cardstock, the ink goes on quite a bit richer. You can really build up layers, which is one of my favorite things, and it's super bright white. It really works well. So this is the cardstock I use, but use whatever cardstock you've got on hand. Now, speaking of the drawer right next to me, I like to keep my most used tools right next to me, and I keep this drawer open while I'm crafting. So you guys saw me with my cardstock that I just placed in here. I have those right on hand. I keep my mister in there. I also keep some of my favorite black ink pads right in hand. This is the Boon Organizer, and this has been super helpful as well to keep scissors and main tools like pens, pencils, erasers, and things like that. And then the rest of the drawer is just separated out using some fridge bins. These are clear organizers that are divided and super helpful. I also keep my acrylic block collection really close at hand there. Those are my favorite acrylic blocks. And if I find stamps on an acrylic block that I didn't put away, I usually take them off, put them on my desk so that I can find the stamp set a little bit later while I'm cleaning, and then I'll put my blocks right back in my drawer. Again, it's all about having certain containers and homes for the things. For example, this tape runner, I know it goes in my most used drawer inside that Boon Organizer. So all I have to do when I find things like my most used tapes is put them right next to me in that drawer where it's nice and organized already. Look, stamp cleaner. Easy. It goes right in that drawer in one of the designated containers. So I like to make sure that I know where things go, otherwise it'll end up in a mess and you'll be a little bit overwhelmed. Next, I like to find things that I know are going to be easy to put away. So things like my Lunar Paste, I have a specific storage method for these. So for these in particular, I have this clear organizer. I like the clear ones because you can see what's in them, but still have them tucked away. This one I think is just a Target organizer, and all I do is just place these in rainbow order all across here. And there's a little bit of room for growth, but of course, when we do grow out of this container, we can put it in something a little bit larger. And then I keep my blending tools, my swatches along with it. And this is a container from scrapbook.com that can hold the blending tools in there really nicely. So it keeps all the things I need for my lunar pastes right at hand, and I can set this off to the side and put it away then. There's also ink pads all over my desk. My Simon Hurley Create inks, and I use these a lot, so I have a specific home for them, again, right next to me in one of the drawer units. This is a stamp and storage unit. I love this one. It actually is a distress stamp and storage unit, so it has little stoppers there so that it fits the distress inks perfectly. Now, I chose this. My ink pads are actually quite a bit taller, but I chose it so that the ink pads kind of stick out a little bit and I can see the colors at a glance from a side angle like this. And I like the fact that you can store blending tools along with markers next to them too. So all I'm going to do is take these ink pads, and I have specific blending tools that match up with the colors, so I know easily how to put them back once I'm done using them. Now I know I'm going to get questions about this. Check the manufacturer's website, but I know with my inks you should be good to store them on their side, and I haven't had any problems storing like this for years. So don't worry, but check the manufacturer's website on how they recommend to store the inks. And I just wanted to mention, if you are worried about storing them any which way, storing them flat like this is another great option. And this one, I just tipped up how it's supposed to be normally and not put it in a drawer, and that's going to hold the ink pads perfectly that way too. I just really love these stamped storage units because they're so nice and solid. I use these so much, and having an organizer like this, although it's pricey, you've already invested in your ink pads, and investing in something that perfectly holds them will help you use them quite a bit more often. All right, I've got my embossing folders on my desk here, and all I do is store these in a drawer next to me on the other side. They fit perfectly in a little nook right there, and I like to have these in larger containers so that I can open them up, pour my powder over top, and it goes right back into the container, and then I can put them right off to the side once I'm done. All right, now I'm kind of finding things as we go. You'll find different stamp sets. Like I said, you're gonna find all the different stamp sets and stamps, and we'll kind of pair them with their stamp set once we find everything that's on the desk here. So I'm just pulling all the different stamp sets and setting them off to the side, making one pile. Background stamps are super simple. When I find something like this on my desk, I actually have already cut down the plastic that comes with the background stamp. So they usually come on a rectangle plastic sheet. I cut right around the stamp and I keep this on its backing. That way when I'm stamping it, I just flip it over, ink it down, stamp it up, and then this is already on its packaging. That's by far my favorite way to store the background stamps. It's really easy to do, and it keeps them nice and sturdy, but you can still see all the amazing designs. All right, so once I found all the little runaway stamps, I'm going to lay them all down on my desk with the design side facing up. Now, I don't clean my stamps as I go. If you do, you can skip the step and just put them right back in the packaging. But all I'm going to do is take a little bit of stamp cleaner of some sort and spray it down. Of course, you could do this on your craft sheet. You don't want to ruin your desk surface. Then I'm gonna go in and you can either clean this down with a rag or go in with something like the Rub It Scrub It. This is a stamp cleaning pad, and this is just going to get into those grooves and really make sure those stamps are nice and clean. It's almost like a little car wash for your stamps. I also want to say if you're having trouble getting a stamp to stick, flip it over onto the clear side. It hasn't lost its stick. There's just a coating of dust on here. So spray it down with a little bit of water, kind of rub it off with a lint-free cloth, and then let it air dry. And then once you've done that, you should be able to stick it back down to your stamp sheet, and it should have all of it stick back. So once we've cleaned them all off, we can find the different stamp sets, find the images, and all we're going to do is just lay them down and pair them right back into their stamp set. It's really quite easy to do. Now when it comes to stamp storage, I actually just use the sleeves they originally come in, just that little plastic packaging. And I like to take the packaging in my little trimmer here, and I'll cut off this top edge. This way, it just leaves an open top like this, where we can slide our stamp set in and out of. I know that sometimes this can kind of get a little bit ripped or sticky if you keep opening and closing it. So this is a really easy way to just open your stamp set and slip it right in, and it creates a good little stamp pocket. But I find that this is better than doing stamp pockets for me personally, because I was spending too much time organizing with the stamp pockets and not creating, whereas this is nice and easy to do. All right, now let's talk about my storage bins. I love these clear storage bins from Tonic Studios. They are my absolute favorite and go-to. And I know you can get lots of other clear storage bins from lots of different companies on the market, but these are my favorite for stamps, stencils, dies, and things like this, because I can have this many stamp sets in this container. And then you can also buy these little dividers, and these are so handy because you can have several of these but have so many different things put inside of each one because you can divide them and section them off. So if I wanted to divide this off, I totally can. You can leave a little bit of room there so you can still flip through everything. And then let's say I wanted to put some background stamps now in the front here. I totally can do that and separate them off. Nothing is falling over, which I really like, and I'm able to store several different categories of items all in one container like this. It's one of my favorite things. All right, I just wanted to give you a peek into this drawer. So here's how I have this one with those background stamps in the front and these stamps in the back with a divider in the center. And then in this one, I keep all my stencils, my die cuts, and washi tape. And then over here, I've got my jumbled mess of a bunch of stamping foams that I like to use. And then of course in the back I have my embossing powders. But look, that's 2 containers and we have 4 different categories of products in it. That's what I love about those dividers. So I highly recommend getting some of these, getting some of the dividers, and you're gonna stay super organized. I also wanna say I've got a whole bank of drawers back here, and although they all look the same, I gotta know what's inside of them. So there's really an importance in labeling things as well. So in my craft room, I've placed the labels just on the top edge here. The reason why I do that is because I don't like looking at these labels, and from a side view, you wouldn't really even know that they're there. But then when I look above and I'm going through things, I can easily find all of my different categories of products just by seeing that label on the top. That's why I love it. All right, so that is why labeling is super important, so I can find everything back there, but I'll link down below to my favorite label maker and also an off-brand label tape that I find works exactly the same, but then you don't have to worry about spending a ton of money while you're labeling all your supplies. All right, my friends, now that is a peek inside of my craft room and really how I organize and keep it nice and clean. Leave me down below some of your favorite storage and organization solutions. I'm always open to new ideas, and also I'll have everything that I talked about linked down below in today's video description. I'll see you guys very soon for another card making and crafting video. Have a great day. Bye!